This video is how to use Jupiter Exchange on Solana. I'll show you how to connect a wallet, use the swap feature, the limit order feature, and the DCA feature. Timestamps for all of that down in the description. The first thing we need to do is get our wallet connected to Jupiter. I'm going to show you how to connect and use Phantom wallet in this video. It's really the main Solana wallet. However, if you have other types of wallet, they're easily connected as well. So connect wallet here. If you have a phone wallet, then click Wallet Connect. It's going to give you the QR code. You can just scan that with your phone and very easily connect it. Most wallets are supported here on Phantom. So if you go down to more wallets, you can see Trust Wallet, Coinbase Wallet, OKX Wallet, and many others. As long as it supports the Solana blockchain, you'll be able to connect it. If you don't have a wallet yet, I'll leave setup guides down in the description for Phantom Wallet and a few other wallets, very easily connected. Now, the second thing we need is some SOL tokens in our wallet. We're using the Solana blockchain, and so every transaction requires SOL for gas. Not a lot, but we do need that, otherwise we can't pay for transactions. If you're new to Jupiter, you can also use the value of SOL to swap into other tokens if you want, so you can send an extra amount to your wallet. It's up to you if you want to maybe send a small amount of SOL and a small amount of USDC or other tokens. So what I'm going to do is go over to my Binance account. I've got some SOL here and I need to send it out to the wallet that I'm going to use with Jupiter. So you can see I've got my wallet connected here. I'm just going to copy the address very easily and then go over to my Binance. I'm going to paste that in because I bought some SOL, and I'm just going to withdraw that, whatever you want, into the wallet right here. So that withdraws it from my Binance account. It's going over to my Phantom wallet that I've got connected to Jupiter. That goes over to my account, and then I have gas to pay for transactions, and I have some value to actually swap into other tokens. If you want some deposit bonuses on the exchanges that I use, Binance, OKX, Bybit, I'll leave those down in the description below. Now that I've got some SOL tokens in my wallet, I can pay for transaction fees and use that value as well to swap into other tokens. So if we go to the swap feature here, then we need to make sure that we're swapping the right tokens that we want, and also we have our settings correct. So you're paying, this is the token that we're actually swapping from. So we have some value here that we should swap from this token into another. Click this right here. It's going to show you all of the balances in your account. So you can see I've got some SOL here. If you have other tokens, it's going to list them up here for you so you know what you can actually swap. These are popular tokens up at the top. However, we can also search for any token that we want to trade. So I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to be paying in SOL and I'm going to be receiving Jito SOL. So I want to swap into that. This is the staked SOL, so I should be getting some staking rewards swapping out of SOL and going into Jito SOL. So from here, obviously Jito SOL is a big token, so it's very easily searchable. However, how would I search for it if I don't really know what the token is? Well, I can go over to something like CoinGecko or Gecko Terminal and actually search for highly traded tokens to make sure that I'm trading the right thing. So on Gecko Terminal, this is free by the way, I'll link it below. We can see the highest traded tokens right here and what they are, right? So you can see different tokens, most of them against Solana as a trading pair, mostly a lot of meme coins right here. So you can see all these, right? So I can just make sure, doubly sure, that I'm actually searching for a token. So let's go to the highest traded token, which is this one right here. This is a pair against SOL. You can see the exchange rate and all of the trades going through. What I can do is come down here, and these are the tokens in the pool. So you can see this is obviously Solana, the Solana token, and this is the other token. So what I can do is actually come and copy the contract address. So I'm going to click that. Then I'm going to go back into the exchange, and the token that I want to receive, I can click this, and then up here it says search by the address. So I'm going to paste in the address, and you can see it searches and finds this token. So if you're trading a token that you're not quite sure what it is, of course, a DEX can have obviously fake tokens and other things in there. You can go and search for the token, make sure that it's highly traded and trustworthy and accepted, and then obviously just make doubly sure you can search for the token address to make sure it's a token that you want. So whatever token that you want to trade from is here, and trade into is this one. We can also make sure our settings are on point before trading. Up in the top right here, you can see auto. Now it defaults to auto slippage. Slippage is the difference between the price quote that you get given when trading and then the actual price that your trade goes through at on the blockchain. There's a time difference, And of course, things happen between pressing the button and the actual trade being executed. And so those things can change the price. The slippage that you allow is essentially the difference that you're willing to take between the price quote that you get and what actually trades. So if I say that my slippage setting is 1%, that means I'm willing to get a worse trade by 1% versus what it tells me I'm going to get. Obviously, if you want less than that, you can go to 0.5% or 0.3%, something like that, or you can put it on auto. Now, when you're trading very highly liquid pairs like Solana and USDC, you can really trade 0.5%, 0.3%. You should really be looking for a slippage of like way less than that, like 0.1% or even basically no slippage at all. If you're trading smaller tokens, especially a lot of meme coins and stuff like that, then you're probably going to have to allow for higher slippage because there's less liquidity or there's more trade volume. When things are very, very congested on Solana, especially during these, crazy trading days, you may have to allow for a lot of slippage. And that means your trade could go through at a much different price than you get quoted. So that's not really the best. So if you are just trading some normal tokens like Jito Sol and Sol or USDC, maybe try to trade during times where congestion is a lot lower, and then you should be able to get better trades. We can see swap settings as well. Version transaction is on. I would leave this on. This tries to reduce the size of your swaps and just get them through at a better rate. And use wrapped Sol. I would leave that off. There's no really reason to put it on. And then direct route only. If you do that, then it's essentially one token into the other token. So Sol into USDC. If you turn that on. If you keep it off, it means that Jupiter can route your order through the best method to get you the best trade. So I would leave this off for most people. So they're the settings here. Then what we can do is trade an amount. So I'll just trade half of my Sol and I'll put that into Jito Sol and it's giving me a quote. So you can see 2 hops right here. That means it's going through different exchanges to get me the best trade. That's fine for me. So I'm going to press swap and it says pending approval. So it's going to wait for my wallet to actually go ahead and confirm this. I'm just going to put my password in. That's fine. So I'm going to unlock this and it should give me all of the transaction details and what I'm swapping, the network fee and everything like that, which has to be paid in Sol. So you need some Sol in your account. I'm going to press confirm. And obviously that goes through as a transaction. So very, very simple, but it's really getting everything in place first before the trade to make sure that it's going to go through in the way that you want. That swap has now gone through on the blockchain and you should be able to see all of the new tokens that you have in your wallet. So go to the wallet icon in the top right and then go to your tokens here. Should be able to see I've now got those 2 tokens. So it should automatically give you your balances. But let's move on to limit orders. So what is a limit order? A limit order is where you choose the price that you trade at. With the swap feature, what you're doing is just being given a quote, being given an exchange rate between 2 tokens, and you either swap or you don't. And you can't choose the price that you trade at. You just set your slippage to make sure that it's within a range of the exchange rate that it's giving you. With limit orders, you can choose the exchange rate, or at least the worst exchange rate that you're willing to take. And then if the system can trade at that exchange rate, it does so. So a limit order is an instruction to a system to say, buy or sell immediately right now at a specific price or a better price than that, but never a worse price. And so that's the limit. You're saying my limit for this trade is this price. And as long as the system can trade at that price or better, then it will do that for you. So it's simple. We're selling and we're buying something. So again, I'm going to be selling Sol. So I've got some Sol that I'm going to be selling. That's the value I'm selling. And what token are we receiving for that? I'm going to sell some Solana for USDC. So what we can see is that the current market price right here is 147. This means that per 1 Sol that I'm selling, I can get $147. And obviously I can, trade any fraction of that. But you can see the price quote is per 1 unit of Sol, which is 1 Sol. So let's just go back to 1 Sol to make it easy. So the current market price is $147 for 1 Solana. What is a limit price? Well, we have to change that, right? So let's say that my limit for selling Solana is $200.
Well, that means that I can't sell right now because the current market price is like $147 and I want to sell at $200. So I can't sell straight away. You can see my price is actually 35% above the current market price. But this is great for a limit order. What I'm telling the system is sell at $200, but not underneath that. So if it can get 200, 201, 202, it's going to sell me at those prices, but nothing underneath that. So that's the limit, saying sell Solana at 200 or better, but nothing below that. Now, if I were to put a limit order in, if you go back to use market here, that's giving you the current exchange rate, which is $147 per 1 Solana. If I put my limit and say I want to sell Solana at $50 per 1 Solana, you can see my limit price is way below the current market price. So at this point, this limit order is kind of irrelevant and it just turns into a swap, otherwise known as a market order. Because what I'm saying is sell Solana immediately as long as the price is better than $50 per 1 Solana. Well, the current market price is 147. And so it's essentially just going to swap straight away like a market order for us. So limit orders are really good when you want to trade at a price that is away from the current market price to your advantage, and you have to kind of wait for it to get done. So let's say I'm selling Solana and I'm going to put my limit price at 200 SOL. The current market price is 147. I want to be buying some USDC here. So essentially I'm selling SOL to get dollars. I'm just going to sell half my SOL here, and it shows you what the actual price would be because it knows the amount that I'm trading and the price that I want to trade at. So it can very accurately determine what the actual trade will go through at and what my USDC will be. Because the platform fee here is 0.1%. But we're going to place this limit order in. So place limit order. And right here, we should be able to sign that with the wallet. So you can see that here. I'm just going to press confirm. So essentially what I'm doing is making sure that that order is in, and you can see open orders. Now, this is not an order book. This is not like when you trade on Binance or Bybit and you see the book of orders there, flicking away. That's not what this is. This is essentially showing Jupiter your order and letting them scan all of the price oracles. And if they can find a trade that actually matches your trade at or better than your trade, then they're going to go ahead and trade it for you, but it's not an order book. So right here, you can see my open orders. This is the exchange rate and everything here. This is an open order, meaning that it's open on Jupiter. They are working the order for us. They have our order there with our price and what we want to trade in the amount, but it hasn't traded and it won't trade unless the market moves into the price that we want to trade at. So that's our open order right here. You can have a lot of these on and trade them and just wait and have your limit orders here. Now, if you want to cancel this out because you think it's not going to get done or you want to move the SOL, you have to cancel this out because this is limit order is in the system. We have now essentially locked up the tokens that we want to trade because we, of course, need them to settle the trade if it executes. So our tokens are locked up in this order right now. So what we need to do is go to action, just right here where my head is, and you can close this. So I'm going to close, and that should go through and ask me, do you want to go ahead with this transaction? So I'm going to press confirm right here, and that should cancel the order. Once the order is canceled, the tokens that are locked up then go back into my wallet and I can send them out or do anything else that I want with them. There's also a DCA feature on Jupiter, dollar cost averaging. So this is where you can set up a regular purchase of an asset over a period of time. Many people use dollar cost averaging in bear markets just to allocate to some tokens that they want to buy during the bear market. So I want to allocate. So we're going to choose USDC here, and then we'll just be dollar cost averaging into the SOL token. So the amount that you want to allocate is the total amount that you want to spend. And then here you can split that up into orders. So let's say that I want to spend $1,000 and I want to split that up over 1 year. So I'm going to buy the Solana token once per week, and I'm going to split that up over 52 orders or 52 weeks. Enable pricing strategy. So if I click this on, this gives us a min and max price. So if you're buying something, you probably don't care about a minimum price, right? Obviously that the lower the better, but a maximum price, you may say, yeah, I don't want to spend more than $80 per sol or something like that. And so if the price goes above that, it actually doesn't execute the dollar cost average orders for you. So that would be good in a bear market, just to say, I'm not very price sensitive, but I don't want it to go over this price. You can see the order details here. So 1,000 USDC and the set amount per order and the amount of time and everything like that. And then the platform fee. So if you wanted to go ahead and do that, just press start DCA. Now, of course, you need the dollars in your account because again, it locks up that amount of token in your wallet. So if you have a stable coin or any other coin, you would need that in your wallet first. You can't set the DCA and then not have the amount. So you need all of that set up first and everything in your wallet, and then just press start DCA, and that will be executing the order as you've put in here. I'll leave some other helpful videos on getting set up on Solana down in the description. Exchange bonus links down there as well. I'm James with ManagerG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.